Welcome to TCBTC, TechCrunch's Bitcoin podcast. I'm John Biggs.
And I'm Alex Wilhelm.
And as you'll notice, we are live human beings in the same room.
I can't believe that. This never actually happens. So first of all, where are we?
So we're in the new SF studios.
Here at TechCrunch
in
HQ.
TechCrunch HQ, and this is brand new to me. I've never been in this dark room.
Well, we used to have like lights and walls, and then we literally paid people to tear all that down and to rebuild our studio in this new way. So we actually have
one big room.
If you come down, and you should drop by, we have this amazing large empty space, and we're gonna fill it full of awesome shit. So this is a preamble, if you will, to a future offering of culinary and Bitcoin delights.
Oh, excellent. So we're going to put a Bitcoin ATM in here.
No,
we're just going to run tour groups.
I can't afford the other fees.
So you did something the other day, yesterday.
That's true.
That brought some ire down upon you. What was the situation? Why don't you describe where your head was at?
So I really live my life to make more friends.
Sure.
That's really, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, you know what I need? Yeah. I'm just like, I read the book actually. I need more friends. So I write blog posts that are designed to engender friendship.
Absolutely.
So I've been tracking the price of Bitcoin for years and years now. And Bitcoin is most interesting, sorry to say, when prices are doing this or that. And recently we found this amazing plateau of price stability for Bitcoin, and it's been, I hate to say it, boring. So I track the price of Bitcoin 5 times a day, every day, if not more, and it's been chill, very chill.
So you did a post that was literally just a picture of a tumbleweed whistling across a road.
The headline was "Breaking News from Bitcoin." It was tongue-in-cheek. I'm trying to make a joke, and I almost wrote this post like 4 or 5 times because I have thought the same thing. I checked the price of Bitcoin. I'm like, please do something, up or down, whatever. I'm going to get excited again.
Well, why are you excited about the price of Bitcoin?
Well, I also track miner revenue, aggregate market cap of Bitcoin as a whole compared to the cryptocurrencies. I mean, the price actually does matter. I mean, like, I know it's a secondary indicator, but it's fun. And also, I'm a finance kid. I love charts. So I wrote this post, and I did it as a joke. I showed it to one of our editors. I'm like, and he was like, ship it. I was like, publish. and
Which tells you how
TechCrunch works. Yes, this is
how detailed
welcome
our
to the
organizational system is.
And then I got a lot of mean tweets telling me that I was stupid, a troll, I'll never read TechCrunch again. Yeah, bullshit. And then, but the best part was, again, there's the second time, there's a whole thread on Reddit about how much I suck. Yeah. Which, there's been others, but the Bitcoin subreddit is time number 2. And I'm very proud that I managed to piss off a community of lackluster, unfunny fucks for a second time. Because I feel like Bitcoin, hey.
You heard it here first.
Bitcoin is awesome.
It's
Bitcoin. Really cool tech. It's really cool for the future, and I love that we can do micropayments, and I'm excited about it, and that's why we do this. But dude, chill, it's not religion. Like, take a joke. I was making a humorous statement after investing my time into talking about Bitcoin, and no one got it. No one got that I was being facetious.
Reddit, I've had a positive, negative feeling about the Reddit, that particular Reddit for years.
Oh yeah.
And they've always been, for a while they were excited, like when grandma started a bodega and she started taking Bitcoin.
Yeah, the cupcake shop.
Yeah, the cupcake shop down the street. For a while, that was all it was. It was like, oh my God, it's changing. Now they're all into everybody's talking about remittances and how they're going to destroy Western Union. That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Now they're into the BitLicense stuff, and they have these little pet things that they kind of dig at. But the instant you say something bad about Bitcoin, anywhere, even tongue-in-cheek, even if it's literally just a GIF of a tumbleweed.
Which that took me like 5 minutes to find, by the way. That was a long Giphy search. Can I tell you my one profane story about Bitcoin that I can't get away from?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so for people who don't know, we at TechCrunch do these events called Disrupt. People come in, we interview them on stages, usually with lights and microphones. Yep. And I was talking to the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong.
And they hate you for that.
A very, very smart guy, and a guy that I like. But my job is to, go out from a little bit and push him, because it's an interview. And after that interview, I had my first Reddit Bitcoin thread about how horrible I am. And the best insult ever done in the history of mankind was as follows. I am, quote, a dog shit dildo. Which, if you think about it, it gets worse the more you think about it. But that's an impressive, that's still a moment to me that
it was frozen. And then
it stopped. But that's annoying because I think Bitcoin is hurt as a larger community by the zealotry of the true believers, and that really brings down the ability of people to show up and hang out and learn. I
wrote that a long time ago. Bitcoin has an image problem. Bitcoin has an image problem.
Community problem.
Well, it's an image problem because if the community is that, it's like any community that you're in, like the RC car community, or being in finance. So presumably, when you try to enter that community, there's specific things that you have to do. There's specific ways to get past the gatekeepers in that community. The writer is the same way. And if the community is easy to understand and very valuable, but the community itself are a bunch of douches, then you have a problem.
Yeah.
So in this specific case, most recently, they were a bunch of douches, and they continue to be a subset of douches, whereas there are a number of folks who are actually pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like my friends that work for major Bitcoin companies that I talk to on a weekly basis are funny and engaging and very savvy. And I talk to them a lot because they're that, but I don't go on the Bitcoin Reddit thing because it's just so toxic. Not to bitch. I mean, like, I've been a Reddit user for like 8 years, love it. I love communities, open discourse, but like, you could think about how it appears outside your little realm if you wanted to grow.
I don't know. They probably don't do that. So
speaking of growing, though, BitLicense.
BitLicense. Oh, we can talk about it. So was Jameson okay with you? Was he angry with you?
Jameson Lop, for everyone knows, we lop it off. It's a masturbatory joke.
We bring him up again.
Yeah. The point is, he was like, lol, basically. But people are just not very nice about their favorite little shiny thing. It's okay.
Poor Alex. All right.
No, it turns out I'm a big kid. I can take it. I'm just kind of giggling as I go home.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. BitLicense. So BitLicense basically passed in New York. It essentially says that as long as you're not holding customer funds, you can essentially do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? It means you can program, you can do all sorts of things. You can hold Bitcoin, you can own Bitcoin, you can buy it, sell it. But as long as the instant you start taking people's money, then you have to be regulated.
How do I buy and sell Bitcoin without taking people's money?
Presumably you're doing it yourself. It's like all like internal stuff. I understand it's very difficult, but that's one of the tricks. You can be a programmer, you can be a Bitcoin programmer, you can build something out of Bitcoin, and as long as you're not taking client funds and putting it somewhere in an account, then you don't have to worry about it.
But if I go to John Biggs Exchange.tumblr and I want to buy Bitcoin, I have to literally give you the money, right? Or you just pass through.
Then you have BitLicense. Then you have to deal with BitLicense. Okay. So the regulatory framework around Bitcoin is still unclear. This is going to try to clarify it slightly, but it doesn't clarify it nearly enough. And it was sort of I guess neutered as it was being announced. So generally what we're talking about is regulations are going to have to start happening, but now there's a clear way forward for people. So if you're investing in Bitcoin, if you're building a Bitcoin company, you have a few more rules that are being handled.
So people talk a lot about the, I hate to put it this way, the larger libertarian streak among Bitcoin, which I'm very favorable of. Does this sort of regulatory structure or architecture, if you will, diminish the value of Bitcoin, or does it actually make it easier to use and therefore larger and more applicable for the mass person?
I was reading. We did an interview with Nathaniel Popper last week. Did you hear that?
Oh yeah.
So I talked to him, and part of his book was that the Bitcoin libertarians, the gold bugs, and all the really freaky guys are being supplanted by Wall Street guys like Wences Cesaris, a lot of the guys who are investing in Bitcoin, Sean Percival, all those guys. So you're looking at a replacement. So it's very similar to the early days of the internet. The early days of the internet was well.com, and that's what it is. Well,
it bores me.
But it was a bunch of. It was Russell, what's his name? Stuart Brand and all those guys who were all kind of wacky, goofy. We're going to change the world, all this other stuff.
And we'll do it for free.
And then all of a sudden, Yahoo comes by and we could probably make a little bit of money on this. And then you go for it. So once it becomes legitimized, once the framework is in place to actually understand it, a lot more people with a lot more money are going to be interested.
So long-term, BitLicense becomes a hub for New York Bitcoin startups, or do they still hang out here and have a focus more on London and SF?
Well, London is actually a good place to start a Bitcoin company. SF presumably is too, because there's so many already here that you can't chase them out.
So how many?
They want Wall Street to be able to understand Bitcoin, and that's what this is for.
But will that actually help Bitcoin long-term, or is bringing Wall Street in a way just to induce arbitrage and fake HFT trading to move things around? Is it really a net actual benefit?
I think there's a net actual benefit.
And that benefit is?
That benefit is the folks who want to play nice with Wall Street, who want to build businesses around working with Bitcoin and working with currencies, are going to be using BitLicense to understand how they can do that. Okay,
last question before we bounce. We're a little over time, but will the price of Bitcoin move in the near future, or are we going to? Because we've actually reached stability, which is great for the Bitcoin ecosystem. But are we kind of at parity point, or are we looking more towards volatility or more VIX?
I don't know. What kind of volatility are you looking for? There's no. China is stable right now in terms of Bitcoin.
Very much.
There's no. Russia hasn't collapsed. Bitcoin moved the most when there was lots of news, and Bitcoin also moved a lot because the owners were jittery, and they went through lots of highs and lows.
Yeah.
So now the owners who maybe bought a couple months ago are basically at the same point when they bought. So they don't care. They're not gonna dump as soon as it goes down $2.
Oh no,
they're gonna hang on to it. So even news like this, even news like BitLicense isn't gonna change it. I think the community and the Reddit being accepted, the community has become far more mature now and is actually understands what's happening with their coins.
I'll take that. Yeah.
So they're holding on to them, and it's gonna be stable. It's stable for a reason. It's good. It's a good reason. Stable because there's nothing going on. There's nothing bad going on.
Well, that's two very different things. Nothing going on versus nothing bad going on.
Let's say, well, it's okay. Nothing going on that's newsworthy.
That's true.
Good things aren't newsworthy. Man bites dog is newsworthy. Dog bites
Every man loses Bitcoin and lost cold wallet.
Dog.
You know, the whole thing. Yeah. Same thing. All right.
Dude throws his hard drive away. Anyway.
Well.
TCBTC, we're here for you.
We're here for you.
Should we bring Lopitoff back on?
We're going to have to. We're going to be in a lot of trouble after this one. I guarantee this is not going to be the episode that we're good on. But next week, we'll be audio next week. And we're working on the audio, by the way. It's my fault, but we're working on that. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So there you have it, TCBTC, TechCrunch's Bitcoin podcast. I'm John Biggs.
And I'm Alex.
And thanks for watch listening.
Well, yeah.
Thanks for doing whatever you just did with us. See ya.